requires that bars placed for temperature or shrinkage be no farther apart than the smaller of 5 times the slab thickness, so 5H or 18 inches. So we're repeating that now. But this is the important formula for this slide. Okay. Now let us have this example. This is in your book. It says, assume that by using the minimum thickness requirements, a certain slab must be at least 6 inches thick, 6 inches thick. If f prime of c is 33 psi and fy is 40 ksi, determine the required spacing of number 4 bars in order to carry a factor load moment of 4.5 kip foot. So you're given f prime c, fy 40 ksi. Okay. So meron na tayong minimum, no? 6 inches yung thickness. Now, we have here, it says, a factor load moment of 4.5 kip foot. So, yun ang bubuhatin itong one-way slab natin. Okay? So, you don't have to... I mentioned earlier that when you see this term factored, that means na-multiply na yan ng 1.4 tsaka 1.7 for the live load. So, ito na yung, yung factored moment. Okay? Ito na yung i-compare natin doon sa capacity ng structural element natin. In this case, the one-way slab. Okay? It says the effective depth will be 6 inches. Okay. And then we have to less 3/4 inches. And then less 1/4 inches. Or 5 inches. Ito yung okay, this is the cover and then the diameter of the reinforcement. No. Now, it says from table 5.2, 40 by 3 for grade 40 steel and 3000 psi concrete, we find that a raw value of 0.0055 is needed for an MR or resisting moment of 4.5 kip foot. Ito yung nag-correspond na na moment that it should resist. No? You need this raw value or reinforcement na 0.0055. Now, since for a 12 inches width, you have area of steel equal to raw. Raw, nakuha natin to sa sa excuse me. Okay, you remember the formula for the singly reinforced beam? Kindly excuse me for Okay, the same formula, itong area of steel, no? Area of steel is equal to rho times the width times the effective depth. Or originally, formula natin dyan is rho, yung rho, let me put P, that's equal to AS over BD. Tama? Yung B natin dito is 12 inches. Okay, so we're using actually the same formula. Okay. It says, and knowing that the number of bars in a 12 inches width is 12 divided by S. S is the spacing of the bars. No? So 12 over S, that's the number of bars, times AS. AS is the area of one bar. Okay, so therefore, the total area of the reinforcement would be AS. Okay, yung capital AS. Yung small AS, that's the area of one bar. Okay. There. So setting these two expressions equal to one another, okay? So this gives us AS is equal to AS, small AS, over rho times D. Now, since the area of one number 4 bar, if you'll check this in the table, number 4 bar, it has an area equal to 0.20 inches squared. So to get the spacing, we have 0.20 divided by 0.0055 times 5. 5 is the effective depth. Okay? Okay. Wala, sir, paano nakuha yung 5? Because originally, diba, you have 6 inches and then minus the cover, minus that was mentioned here, no? Effective depth will be 6 inches less 3/4 less 1/4. So nag-alis ka ng 1 inch, no? So therefore, it's 5 inches. Yun ang effective depth natin. Okay? So, so spacing would be 7.3. Now, we've mentioned that if we want to be conservative, of course, we will always be conservative so that our structure is safer. Na? So what you computed was 7.3. So we will round it down, become 7 inches. Okay. Now, it says this is within the code controls of 3H. 3H is how much? 3 times 6 inches, that's 18 inches. Okay. So, mas mababa siya dito sa dalawa. Maximum spacing kasi ito eh. No? Finally, we need to check this result against the requirement for temperature and shrinkage. This is based upon the full thickness. And for grade 40 steel, we must provide a raw due to tension of at least 0.0020. Okay? So, you will notice yung grade 40, yung reinforcement ratio is greater because you have less strength, no, compared dun sa grade 60. Kasi yung grade 40, yung FY niya is 40 KSI. Pag grade 60 is 60 KSI. So yung reinforcement ratio for this is equal to 0.0020. So therefore, S is equal to AS. The area of your designated temperature and shrinkage reinforcement, that's 0.20 all over 0.0020 times 6. So what you get is 16.6. Now you have to round it down to the nearest 0.5. Now it says since 7 inches is less than 16.5, shrinkage requirement will not govern. Okay. Temperature and shrinkage still will be required at right angles to the moment still, of course. And if number 4 bars are used, they should be spaced no farther apart than 16.5 inches as computed previously. This will also meet the code requirement of 5H or 18 inches. Okay, did you get that? Okay, the spacing for shrinkage and reinforcement, you also compare that with the moment reinforcement, no? For the direction of the moment reinforcement. So, 7 inches is less. So you will use 7 inches at that region. Okay, and in that direction. When you say in that direction, that's perpendicular to the length. Now, along the length, of course, you will also put temperature and shrinkage reinforcements. Ang gagamitin mo na yung na compute mo, no? Okay, which is 16.5. Okay? Any question? Any question dun sa ano natin? Discuss natin. So, we will have to account for the moment reinforcement and then temperature and shrinkage reinforcement. Okay, let me skip this slide muna. Babalikan ko, no? Kasi I have inserted this. Na. Ito yung insert natin. Where we got the okay, our requirement is 4.5 keep foot, right? Okay, what are written here are the MRs or resisting moments. Ito yon, which are in keep foot. Okay, if you want, you can open your appendix, table 5B.2. In this case, it is 40 by 3. 40 means 40 KSI for your Fy, and then 3 KSI for your F prime C. Okay? The requirement that you need for a 4.5 kip foot that was mentioned in the problem, okay, the moment that have to be resisted by your moment reinforcements would be 4.5, no? Now, if you look at this, having an effective depth of 5 inches, okay, effective depth natin ng 5 inches, you go down until you reach 4.5. Now you have 4.3 and 4.7. Okay? Let me annotate. Now that is here now. Okay, your requirement is 4.5. So we better use 0.55 as your raw. Ito yung raw mo. Yeah. Kaya naging 0.0055. Yung reinforcement ratio for your moment reinforcement. Okay? So that's how you will use this table. Any question? Malinaw ba yan? Okay. Now, let's Go further. Ito namang example na to. It says, determine the required depth and specify the required steel for the 3-bay one-way slab of figure 11.11. Use FY 40 KSI steel and then 3000 PSI concrete. Use number 4 bars for all steel parallel to the span and number 3 bars for temperature steel in the other direction. Okay, do you understand that? Yung number 4 bars parallel to the span. Okay, when you say span, this is the length which is actually perpendicular to the length of the one-way slab, no? Uh, or specifically, number 4 bars will be used for the moment reinforcements, and then number 3 bars for the temperature and shrinkage reinforcement. Okay, it says the live load is 100 pounds per square foot, and the only dead load is the slab itself. Okay, so may live load ka, may dead load ka rin. So how do we go about this problem? Of course, we have to come up with yung factor load moment. Now that's what we need, no? We will compare that, okay, using the table. Yung table na pinakita natin kanina, no? It says the required thickness from table 11.11 will be this one because it is a continuous. No? So computing that would be 12.5 times 12 divided by 28. So you have 5.5 inches. Okay. Knowing that the required cover is 3/4 inch and using number 4 bars, we find that the effective depth will be 4.5 inches. Ito yung effective depth natin, no? 4.5 inches. Now, the self-weight, we have to determine that 5.5 is the total height, no? Or total depth. So 5.5 times 150. 150 is the unit weight of concrete. You have to divide that by 12 so that this 5.5 is converted to feet. Okay, 5.5 inches kasi ito. Divided by 12, it becomes feet. Ito kasi 150, this is 150 pounds per cubic feet. Okay, so if you do this, you get 69 pounds per square foot. Okay, and do the calculations, you get 69. Therefore, the factored uniform load is, remember, factored, it says. No? So WU would be 1.4, since this is the dead load, multiply mo ng 1.4. Then 1.7 for the live load. And therefore, you get 267 pounds per lineal foot. Okay. Now, why it became lineal foot? Sir, kanina, it's pounds per square foot. Bakit ngayon? Pounds per lineal foot na lang po siya. Anyone? Because you have divided it by the width. Okay? Yung width natin, for this WU, we are now, or we will use this now for the 1 foot strip of the slab. No? Okay? Yun dito yung gagamitin nating WU for the 1 foot strip of the slab. So, from pounds per square foot, you divide it by 1 foot, it becomes pounds per lineal foot. Okay? Now, if you further divide that by 1,000, yung pounds magiging kips na lang. No? So WU would be 0.267 kips per lineal foot. Okay? So that will be our basis for our computation of moment. Okay? Now it says the code stipulates the maximum spacing 3H or 18 inches for moment still. The value of 3H in this case is 16.5. Thus, the spacing at location A should be 16.5 in unless temperature and shrinkage requirements govern. So you will still have to compare that with the temperature and shrinkage, no? Even along the moment reinforcement. Checking the temperature and shrinkage requirement in the direction of the span and using number 4 bars and grade number 4 still, we get that. Why are we using grade 40? It was stipulated naman. Should be grade 60. Sorry. Or number 3. No? So because this is the specification for moment reinforcement. So titignan lang natin. No? Now, ito yung requirement for temperature and shrinkage. It's 18 inches. Okay, so it's nagko-govern pa rin yung 3H, which is 16.5. Okay? Now, this is the figure, no? Figure 11.1, 3-bay, one-way slab. Now, we are given the moments, no? Computation for moment. Moment here is WL squared over 24. Moment at midspan is WL squared over 14. And then near this support would be WL squared over 10. At this point, it's WL squared over 11. And at midspan of this second bay or the middle bay, it's WL squared over 16. Now, it says here center line. I'm sure alam nyo na ito, no, itong center line. That means this is to have the 3-bay one-way slab. Ito parang mirror image siya, no? So kung ano yung reinforcement dito, ganun din ang reinforcement niya sa kabila. Okay, did you get that? Gets niyo yan? Kung ano yung reinforcement dito, ganun din yung reinforcement sa kabila. Okay? Now let's proceed. Now we've created this table because we have 4 locations. You have WL squared over 24, 14 over 10 over 16. These are the moments. No? So we just substitute yung W, which is 0.267. And then the lengths, look at the lengths. So 12.5, 12.5, and then 11.75. Then you have here 11. Bakit nagkaganon? So this is 12.5, okay? And then this one is 11. Dito siya, no? From here up to the other end, that's 11. Okay? Now, you'll be able to get the factored moment. No? 1.74. This is 2.98, 3.68, 2.02. Okay? This is just by computing this. No? Kindly try computing this. Kung makukuha niyo yung tamang value. Now, referring to the table, okay, looking at the effective depth, what is the effective depth here? 4.5, di ba? So, hahanapin natin yung 4.5 from here. Okay, balikan natin. So, you have, say, 1.74. 4.5, 1.74. Andito siya, no? So, you will use 0.0025 kasi 1.8 dito eh. Okay? 0.0025. And then, to get the spacing, ito tayo, no? This 0.20, this is the area of a number 4 bar. Okay, and then you will use the raw here that you've selected, 0.0025, and then effective depth, which is 4.5. And you will get 17.8. Therefore, you have 17.5. Okay? And then at this region, you get 2.98. Okay? 4.5, 2.98. So you use itong 3.2, no? 0.0045. There, 0.0045. Okay, nagigets natin yon. Are you getting that? Class? Okay, good. Nakikita niyo yung cursor ko? Do you see my cursor? Class?
Yes po.
Okay. That's good. Okay. This one, you get 3.68. The raw value should be 0.0055. And then you'll use that using this formula to get the spacing. So spacing here would be 8. And then so on until we reach this, you get 14.5. Okay? So ito yung mga spacings. 17.5, 9.5, 8, and then 14.5. Now, for temperature still and the maximums are 5H or 18 inches. Of course, this is the temperature and steel reinforcement perpendicular to the moment reinforcement. So using number 3, if you're using number 3, you have to use 0.0020 because that's grade 40 steel. And then this is H, no? H ang ginagamit dito, no? It's not D as compared to the moment reinforcement. So 0.11, that's the small letter A, S. That's the cross-sectional area of number 3 bar. So you get 10 inches. Ito yung spacing due to temperature and reinforcement. Okay, so as finally, ito na yung ano natin. You have here at this region, you have number 4 at 16.5. And then for this one, you have number 4 at 18 inches alternating to provide 9 inches spacing. Okay, you will notice it's this one is referring to this bar here. Ito yung bar na yan. Okay? Itong mga bar na dots, these are actually temperature and shrinkage bars. Okay? It says number 3 at 11. Sorry, this is a typographical error. 11, it says it should be 10. Kasi 10 inches yung na ano natin. Okay? 10 inches yung na-compute. So kindly correct this. This is number 3 bars at 11 inches. Ito yan. Okay? But for this one, it's at the top. Nasa taas siya. Why? Because the moment here actually is negative. Yung mga nabigay na values dito, ito, these values here, okay, specifically this. It wasn't reflected here, but normally this is negative. Kapag malapit sa support, that moment, maximum moment is negative. Kapag sa mid-span naman, positive yan. And these two are negative. And then this is positive. Okay? There. So you have here number 4 at 8 inches. No? So for this one naman, it says number 4 at 18 inches, alternating to provide 9 inches spacing. Alternating, meron ka dito, meron ka rin dito. Yeah? So you have to place your bars so that they will satisfy yung mga moment reinforcements designated at locations. Pwede kang sumobra. Okay, of course, there are designated maximum reinforcement ratios. No? Kina-check mo rin yan. Okay, but you should not be below yung mga designated spacings. I mean, greater. Yung below the provided total area of steel. Yun ang sinasabi natin, you should not go below. Kaya yung designated spacing, meron tayong provisions. Okay? Any questions? Now, for two-way bars, it says two-way action develops in slabs that are more square, where the beams frame directly into columns at the four corners of the slab. So we will not be discussing this anymore. Yung detail, no? It says deflection often controls the thickness of two-way slabs, just as with one-way slabs, but the rules for minimum thickness are not nearly so simple. As we mentioned, medyo may mas detalye, no? Mas elaborate yung pag-analyze ng mga two-way slabs. Okay? These are two-way flat plate. You have columns here, and this is your slab. These are reinforced that way. Ganun siya. So therefore, the distribution of the positive moment, eto, no? Ganun yung pag-resist ng mga moment forces, no? Of your two-way slab. So it is mentioned here, when the column strip contains a beam, most of the moment is carried by the beam, as with most continuous structures. The larger moments tend to be the negative ones near the supports. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the negative moments are always near the supports. One popular simplified method of analysis assumes that the moment per foot of width is constant over the width of each strip and assigns positive and negative moment coefficients to be used to determine the required spacing of steel for each location. Okay. Now, for slabs on grade, so as the term mentions it, they are on grade. Okay. They are placed on compacted soil or on a specially prepared sub-base of sand or gravel. It theoretically needs reinforcement only for the control of cracking due to shrinkage and temperature stresses. Okay? So take note of that. You're just providing for reinforcements for slabs on grade due to temperature and shrinkage. However, most designers recognize that due to uneven loading and the practical difficulties of obtaining a uniformly stiff base, the steel is useful for the control of cracks caused by bending and shear as well. Okay? If let's say it takes some time to compact the soil beneath, no? There are some cases na naghahabol sila ng oras, no? Hindi na nasusunod yung procedure of compacting the soil where the slab on grade will rest. Kaya for safety, no, magpo-provide na rin sila ng reinforcement. So the consequence, of course, you'll have extra, no, the extra cost, but of course that will compensate for shortcutting, no, yung pagko-compact mo ng soil. Such slabs vary in thickness from a minimum of 4 inches for residential application. So to as much as 8 inches for heavy warehouse loadings. Ilang millimeter yung 8 inches? Ilan yan? So you have to multiply that by 25.4, right? Tama ba? So 8 times 25.4, that's equal to 200 millimeters. 200 millimeters, that's what? 20 centimeters. Okay? For thinner slabs, it says one layer of welded wire fabric is placed about 2 inches below the top. 2 inches below the top, we are referring to yung from the surface from up to here. No? Okay, that's where the mesh is placed. For thick and heavily loaded slabs, 2 layers of mesh or grades of reinforcing bars are used, located 2 inches from the top and bottom surfaces. Meron na sa top, meron pa sa bottom. Talagang mabigat yung mga dinadala niyo. No? Let's say, papasok dyan yung mga let's say 6x6 trucks or yung mga trailers. So, kailangan talaga may reinforcement kahit na slab on grade siya. In the case of soils which are very non-uniform in their makeup or subject to large volume changes, post-tensioning is sometimes used to help maintain the integrity of the slab. Yep, that's it. Any question? Any question, class? Question? Are you still awake? Just kidding. Sige, just open your videos. Ayan. You are so much awake. Perhaps you just drank coffee to keep yourself awake, or you had a good night rest last night. Kaya maganda ang gising ninyo ngayon. Mukha nga kasi maaliwalas ang mga itsura niya. Masarap kapag nakatulog ng maayos, di ba? A few days ago, I was complaining to myself. Kasi pasabi ko, di ba amihan na? Bakit ang init pa rin? But just last night or the other night, malamig na. Bumalik yung lamig. Maraming mga absent. Joshua, wala kang ano? Pa rin. Okay. Picturean ko kaya, walang kaya. No? So, are you okay? Everyone is okay? Huwag muna kayong aalis, sandali. Kwentuhan muna tayo. Ano, ang tingin niya, okay lang kayo? Sige. On nyo nga yung mga, ano niya, mga mics. Mag-unmute nga kayong lahat. Sige. Yan. Mag-parlor game muna tayo. Joke lang. May alam na ba kayong parlor game sa ano? Sa mga nagzo-zoom? Naka-experience na kayo? Halimbawa, meron kayong isang group. Tapos, parang yung grouping ano lang, parang impromptu. Tapos magbibilang kayo. Pag nagkasabay ng bilang, alam niyo yan? Okay, umpisa natin. 1. Ay, wala.
2.
2, ayun, 2. Yung susunod.
3.
Okay.
4.
5.
7.
Ayun, stop na tayo kasi may nagsabay ng 7 eh. Ganon. Next time, ganon gawin natin. Mag-grouping kayo. And then, ako mag-group sa inyo para hindi nyo alam. Kasi baka pag nag-group kayo, may pag-uusapan na kayo. O sige, ganyan. So, everyone is okay? How do you find the course? Are we going fast or are we just going dun sa okay na pace? Alam nyo yung okay na pace sa panahon ngayon? When you're complaining na sabihin nyo, ang bagal naman mag-discuss ni sir. Yun ang tamang pace. So, how is it? Magbigay nga kayo ng comments para mag-recalibrate ako if there's anything wrong.
Sir,
Yes.
bale sa akin lang po personally. Okay lang
Yes.
po yung pace, pero there are moments na hindi ko po alam kung kailan ako titingin sa table. Kasi hindi ko po alam kung alin po yung parts na nasa table. So, sinusubukan ko siyang isolve. Tapos kapag nagkamali ako, tsaka pa lang ako titingin sa table. Parang ganun.
Kasi medyo may kahirapan. Yung pag-move ko ng slides, di ba? So, for us, sige, titingin pa ako ng paraan para may pagsabay ko yung dalawang images. That may help siguro, no? Kaya yung in-insert ko rin yung table B.2. Kasi hindi nyo pag sinabi kong tignan nyo ito kasi looking at the table, it is easy, no? Kasi the table did it for you eh. Given yung still reinforcement or reinforcement ratio, andun na yung resisting moment. So, shortcut yung sandali. Anong date? 11. Lazada ngayon. Lazada at saka Shopee Meron ba naglalasada sa inyo? Oo, para yung mga allowance nila. Okay, Okay, thank you, Nicole, for that. Okay, using mo pa yung kung Anything more? Sige, sabay-sabay ko na lang. Anyway, nasagutan ko na yung mga seatworks natin, no? Pero itong pinakauli. Now, I will give you seat work. And then on Tuesday, some of you will be attending the workshop, no? So you'll just be available 10:30. Tama? So gawin natin ganito. On the 16th, I'll give you your quiz. Na, yung quiz ninyo, let's say I'll post the questionnaires. Let's say 11 o'clock na niya. 11 a.m. ko ipopost. And then you will submit to me your answer sheets. Kasi objective to eh. Would it be okay to submit it before 6 p.m.? You can actually...
Sir, may class po kami. I mean, yung iba po sa amin. No,
may class.
1 to 5.
Sige. 1 to 5.
Sa G11.
Oh, yeah. Sige. What about the next day? No, kasi if you will really, dun sa normal na course, or if face-to-face, kaya nyo tapusin in 2 hours eh. No? May dalawang problems lang. Tapos the rest is subjective. So, the next day na lang. Anong oras the next day nyo gustong i-submit? What time nyo gusto? Pwede na ba yung 10 a.m.? O kaya ganito, 11 a.m. din. So you have 12 hours from the time it is posted. Okay ba yan? Ano yung mas prefer ninyo? Hindi kayo parang hindi kayo nakasmile. Gusto ko mag-smile kayo kapag... sige, extend pa natin. Instead of 12 plus 2 hours, 11 plus 3, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. the next day. Okay na yan? Maluwag na ba yan? Sige. Hazel, how is it? Okay lang? Okay lang yan. Umangal din kayo pag masyadong di ba? If you think na sir, tagal naman. 2 hours, tapos ko na yan eh. Sa loob-loob nyo ganun, magsalita rin kayo. Okay? Anything more you want to bring up dito sa course natin? Yung iba yung classmates, kindly tell them kung anong napag-usapan natin. And then, if they want a special meeting, okay lang sa akin. Like, maybe tomorrow kung gusto nila. Although itong discuss natin ngayon won't be a part of the exam on Tuesday. Okay? Miss Gianina. Is it Gianina or Gianina?
Gianina po.
Gianina, okay. Reina, you okay? Miss Reina. Ella. Arian. Arian, nasa ka ngayon? Miss Canete.
Sir, nasa Mindanao po.
Nasa Mindanao ka, okay. Buti na lang, okay lang yung signal, no?
Okay naman po.
Yung technology, no? Napaka-wonderful. Ang lalayo natin, but nagkakakitaan tayo at nagkakarinigan. Okay? Sige, I will also assign you seat works. So, yung seat work nyo sa course, the syrups, okay pa until 2 p.m., no? I will assign seat work then later. Ipopost ko na lang for the slab, no? Wala na kayong tanong sa slabs. One-way slabs. Wala na? Sige. O, sige, bye-bye na. Next time na lang tayo mag-parlor games. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.